Wouldn't it be crazy to get 90% off of your flight tickets? Keep watching. Back in February last year, I published a video called British Airways Economy or Premium Economy, How We Get the Best Seats. And in it, I made this really wild claim. I've just booked 2 economy seats to Las Vegas for £150 each. So wild, in fact, somebody felt the need to leave me a comment calling me out in disbelief of my crazy prices. You can read the full comment if you check out the original video in the description below, but don't go just yet. Specifically, he couldn't believe I had got direct economy tickets from London to Vegas for just £150 each. And you know what? I started to question myself. In fact, I even changed the description on the video to say, ignore the prices I quote in this video. Somebody has kindly pointed out that they can't possibly be correct. Well, sit back, because I'm going to show you how we did it, and prove to you that he was wrong and I was right. If you watch the first video, you will know we collect Avios Air Miles using our American Express Premium credit card. And if you haven't seen it yet, there's a link to it at the end of this video. It's worth watching as it explains our little tip for getting the seats we think are the best in the cabin. I'm going to state once again for the record, I'm not here to convince you to take up any airline reward credit card for yourself or promote the Avios scheme. That's for you to decide after doing your own careful research and reviewing your own financial situation. But let me quickly show you how it works for us. Basically, you spend using your Amex card and you earn Avios points, or as we used to call them, air miles. Now don't switch off just yet, I promise not to get too heavy. We have the higher level premium card for which you now pay a whopping £250 a year card fee. Yes, believe me, I wouldn't have taken that card out at all with that whopping fee. It sort of just crept up with time. Well, fear not, you can get the free lower level card where you earn 1 mile per £1 spent. But on the premium card, you get 1.5 miles per £1 spent. That's a 50% increase in miles, earned for basically £250. And when you spend £10,000 in 1 year on the premium card, you receive a companion ticket, which gives you a free companion seat to use whenever you book a reward seat using your Avios miles. However, there's certain taxes and fees that aren't included. So that's briefly how we earn the miles in the first place, and I'm going to give you a couple of general pointers on airline reward cards in a moment, but for now, let's get back to that wild claim and those crazy prices. So the first thing I did after reading the comment was to go back and check my e-ticket receipt, and sure enough, it says the tickets were just £310 for the pair, and £10 of that is a donation to the Flying Start charity. Okay, but reading further down, I saw that they were those aforementioned additional fees and charges that added up to nearly £200 per person extra. That would make the tickets more like £350, wouldn't it? I couldn't believe I'd made such a huge mistake. But then I checked my credit card statement, and sure enough, just as I remembered, they'd only taken £310 in total. Because believe me, if I had mistakenly thought the tickets were only £150 each, but had then been charged £350 each, I would have been traumatised when the credit card statement arrived. That's something you don't forget in a hurry. So, deducting the £10 donation, that's a ticket price of £150 each, which is exactly what I said in the first video. So what was happening? Why the apparent confusion? Well, it's all to do with the fine print, and I had missed it when I originally booked the tickets, and this will explain everything. I hadn't noticed when making the booking that the flights were reward saver tickets. Now let me explain. British Airways normally give you the reward ticket for free, in exchange for your hard-earned Avios miles, of course, but then charge you some additional handling charges and taxes, which in the past have normally come to around £300 to £400 or so per person for our long-haul flights. But even with those charges, the tickets are still normally considerably cheaper than the full high street ticket prices. But on their reward saver flights, British Airways paid the taxes and fees themselves, and instead charge you a set price reward saver fee, which are generally lower than the taxes and fees. I've seen this before where European flights were being given away for like £35 a ticket, but I'd never noticed a scheme applied to long-haul destinations. And that's not all. My son-in-law got some tickets to Paris last year on his free BA Amex card for just £1 per person. More craziness. Anyway, so instead of me paying the £200 per person fees and taxes as usual, we were just charged a basic £150 per person flat fee. So actually my original statement was indeed a tiny little bit misleading. The ticket price wasn't £150 each. In fact, it was zero as always. And the £150 wasn't for the taxes, as I had mistakenly stated in the video. That's just the tax we have to pay each. It was the reward saver fee that was £150. I know it's slightly academic, but I'm just putting the record straight. So, as British Airways were paying the fees and taxes, we did only pay £150 per ticket for a direct round-trip economy World Traveller seat to Las Vegas. Hard to believe? Not anymore. Of course, I did have to chip in 60,000 of my Avios miles and redeem one of Sue's companion vouchers, which incidentally was a huge hike up from our previous trip to Jamaica, which was only 37,500 miles for premium economy, or World Traveller Plus, as they call it. That's nearly double the miles for what in effect is a downgrade in seating. I'm blaming this drastic change on the effect that COVID had on the airline industry, along with the recent massive fuel price hikes. The second criticism raised against my original video was that the comparison prices I referred to here, now those flights are anything between £600 and £700 normally, were intentionally inflated, that I'd for some reason deliberately compared peak fares with low season fares.
The comparison British Airways money price you showed must have been for a very late or very peak booking, as most seats booked well in advance would be typically half that price shown.
Well, neither of those statements are correct. Let me just make it clear. I don't blindly pay for reward fares without first checking how much it would cost to just go with a normal travel website on a normal scheduled flight. For no particular reason, I tend to check my flights against skyscanner.com, and sure enough, the same identical British Airways full fare flights at the time I booked the £150 reward seats totalled a whopping £3,798. That's just for economy. And while I could get cheaper tickets than British Airways advertised full fares with other airlines, no other airline came anywhere close to their reward ticket price. So was my original claim correct in hindsight? Well, just to make sure, the week before we set off for Vegas, I double-checked the current prices at the times for both British Airways and the other carriers for the exact same direct route. Yes, and believe it or not, there were still seats available. And yes, I know, you're going to say you would expect them to be more expensive as we were only a few days before departure. But the same thing happened. I could still fly to Vegas with British Airways, but it was still a £3,976 total price for the pair of us. That's a £178 increase on the February prices. Or alternatively, I could take the next cheaper fare with KLM or Virgin Atlantic, which was around £850 to £900 per seat, so just £1,800 for us both. So British Airways would have been some £2,100 extra. Why is that? But no matter how you look at it, the reward seats, even after adding the fees and the annual card fee, gave us a massive saving over both British Airways' horrendous standard fare and any other competing airlines' ticket prices. Another potential advantage over some carriers is British Airways' generous cabin allowance, a full 23 kilos of cabin baggage plus an additional handbag or laptop bag which can also weigh 23 kilos. The downside of this can be some extremely large bags being crammed into the overhead lockers come boarding time. One thing that did become clear while rechecking my figures is that British Airways standard pricing is around double the price of any other airline, so I would never consider using them if I was having to pay the full fare price. What about connecting flights, I hear you say? Well, to be honest, I haven't checked. But I can't really include them as options because it wouldn't be a like-for-like comparison anymore, would it? And no one would expect flights with connections to be cheaper. They generally are. But in return, you get the hassle of changing aircraft and normally a much longer time in the air and a longer overall journey time. So I think I've answered the criticisms raised in my original video, and I'm extremely happy and relieved that I got my sums right in the first place. And I'm even happier to confirm how much we saved on our trip to Vegas. Because whichever price you want to compare, it still worked out an unbeatable saving, and clearly unbelievable for some people. Will we be flying British Airways again? I don't know. Their recent hike in prices and changes in the reward scheme conditions has made their whole scheme much less attractive. I'll soon be posting an in-depth video, as I've already been evaluating the reward seats for our next trip. Before I finish, I promise to give you some pointers about the British Airways American Express card, and which may apply to other airline reward cards as well. The first and most important thing is the interest rate. On the premium British Airways American Express card, it's a whopping 113% interest. So I have to make this very clear. This card must be paid off in full each month. Otherwise, the interest you pay will wipe out any savings you've made on the flight costs, and you're likely to end up with a massive interest bill on top of that. Secondly, the annual fee has gone up dramatically since we took the card on, and it's now £250 a year. And they take that in the anniversary month, the month that you signed up. That's a big hit on the card every year that you need to be ready for. Finally, the Avios miles needed for some of the destinations has also risen dramatically. Vegas, for instance, has gone up from 37,500 for premium economy to 60,000 just for economy. That may limit our future travel plans and make the whole reward schemes just unviable. So the question is, are Avios rewards still value for money? Well, I'm going to reveal that decision in my next video. But at the moment, there's still a good saving to be had over alternative full-price carriers. But if British Airways raise their prices much more, there will be insufficient savings to make it worthwhile, especially if you consider that their flights appear to be somewhat inferior in the first place. I'll keep you posted because we've got 2 more companion tickets to use, and with the new higher points requirements, I don't know if we can earn enough miles to use them both. If you want more detailed information on how we collect our Avios miles, then drop me a line in the comments below and I'll make a video specifically on how we manage our British Airways American Express card. I hope this video has been informative and showed you that there are bargains to be had with Avios and British Airways American Express if you can work the system to your advantage. And don't forget, you can check out the original video at the end of this one. So for now, keep an eye out for our up-and-coming videos from our recent trip to Vegas, and also our first quarterly update for 2024, which is destined to be another busy travel year for us. So please subscribe to our channel, and if you like this video, a thumbs up would be much appreciated as it helps spread the word to other viewers. Until then, take care, safe travels, and Sue and I look forward to seeing you soon.